Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. As we get started today, we're going to begin our day with what we call a journey through the Uncanny Valley. And this journey is brought to us from the Institute for the Future's 10-year forecast, which is a program that we've run for many decades with many different partners across the civic sector and across every other sector and domain, producing maps of the decade about the emerging forces that are transforming our world and creating opportunities to have conversations about them. So what you're going to experience is the result of over a year of work that was first presented in October in San Francisco, and Art so generously offered for us to help champion us bringing it here. So we're so excited to bring you the TYF 10-year forecast today. And what you are about to experience, I'm just going to give you a heads up, is an immersive journey into future possibilities. This is very immersive, what we're going to do today. It's not your normal kind of presentation. And so I just want to let you know that along this journey, you may encounter some things that you're not quite used to encountering in a presentation like this. You're going to encounter a lot of provocative ideas, which again, as was mentioned, we are not endorsing these provocative ideas, but we are surfacing them in this safe space together, in this sanctuary, to have conversations about these provocations. You might also experience some uncomfortable insights about the things that we're discussing. And you're very likely at some points to encounter some strong emotions. And I just want to say this is the point of this time together, is to feel these emotions together, to process them, to think about the ways in which the world is changing and how we're going to adapt to those changes. So we invite you to please make yourself comfortable in whatever way you need to as we proceed. And I would love to ask that for folks on the wings, who I know you're there because you want to kind of hedge your bets a little bit, totally understandable, but you're going to have a better view and a better time if you move a little bit closer into the center. We have some interactive portions, and we would love if you were near folks that you could talk to as we get into those portions. So I don't mind a little disruption to get you there, and yeah, if you're on the wings, you're going to get a better view of the stage anyway. So we invite you to do that, if you wouldn't mind. Nice, intimate crowd for this journey together. And with that, as you're settling in, again, welcome to the 10-year forecast. Or should we say, welcome to the Uncanny Valley. The Uncanny Valley is where we find ourselves today. And how do we know that we're in the Uncanny Valley? Before we even start to talk about what the Uncanny Valley is, we know that we're in the Uncanny Valley because everybody keeps telling us that we are. We can just keep looking at news clippings from the last few months that just throw this term out there like it's something that we all already understand. We have this one, a headline from a tech article saying that OpenAI's new voice mode, the ability to talk to an AI with your voice, threw me into the Uncanny Valley. Right? So that one's fairly straightforward. Here's a hardware review from Wired saying that the Apple Vision Pro, Apple's new headset, lives deep in the Uncanny Valley. So it's something that's hardware that's there. This one's a little further afield from an automotive magazine saying the new Hyundai Ioniq 5 shows that the Uncanny Valley fake engine sounds work if done right. So just kind of thrown out there as an adjective, as though we know what it means. But in order to really get an understanding about this, we have to first ask ourselves, what is the Uncanny Valley? What does that actually mean, right? And it turns out not many people know this in my experience, but it's actually a place. It's in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, as you would expect. It's actually near Silicon Valley. It's actually just right here, just kind of south of Oakland. And if we zoom in a little bit there, we can get a closer look at what the valley looks like there. I guess, yeah, it's sort of like in the middle of Berkeley there. I think it's going to resolve in a second. And, oh, yeah, this again. Okay, I think this is like the co-pilot that the Colonel was experiencing. All right, so turns out we have no map of the Uncanny Valley. We're actually totally rudderless here together. But the good news is that I'm prepared. You've got a good guide here today. I'm actually flying in here from Halifax, Nova Scotia, which when I did this in October was not very provocative, but now that I'm from the 51st state, or soon to be, it's a little brave for me to be here, right? But happy to be here with you all. I'm actually a dual citizen. And up in Canada there, with my two children, who are actually here in the audience tonight, watching from the balcony, Sammy and Annie. I'm a scouter with Cub Scouts, and we spend a lot of time out in the wilderness of the Crown Land up there where there are no maps, and we have to navigate based on our orientation and our senses and what we can make sense of. So that's why I'm wearing my necker today. I'm going to be your scouter guide through this Uncanny Valley journey. And thankfully, we're not entirely without a map. I mentioned that we don't have one, but we actually have a little piece of a map that was given to us that was discovered by a man named Masahiro Mori, who was born in 1927. He's still alive, still with us. Masahiro is and was a Japanese roboticist. And he was a pioneer in working with technologies and with kind of human affection for technologies. He was really interested in our relationship with technology. And to give you a sense of where Masahiro's head was at, among the many books he published, one was called The Buddha in the Robot. So it gives you a sense of, he was looking for the deeper sense of how we relate to each other and how does that get reflected in how we relate to machines. And Masahiro, in 1970, gave us our first glimpse of the uncanny valley, and he described it like this, that I have noticed that in climbing towards the goal of making robots appear human, our affinity for them increases until we come to a valley, which I call the uncanny valley. And he gave us this map, which is very crude, more of a graph, really, and it's got two axes. So along the horizontal x-axis, we have the human likeness. How much is the machine like a human? And on the y-axis, we have the affinity. How much do people care, have emotional kind of attachment to that robot or to that machine? And so if we start with something like an industrial robot like this, something you might run into at a factory, has no human likeness and also no affinity, right? We see that down in the center, the left-hand corner of the graph there. So we think of that machine, we have no emotional response to it. But if we make it a little bit more human, sort of enter into kind of WALL-E territory here, the affection goes up. We think, oh, that's cute. I kind of like that thing. I might not mind wanting to talk to a robot like that. But what if we made this robot even more human? What if we gave it a more humanoid kind of appearance? What if we gave it something like skin? Wouldn't that be even that much better? And then you end up with something like this. Let's get a closer look at that. Yeah, not great, right? This is now deep into the valley. And the thing about the uncanny valley is that nobody likes being in the valley. You know, it gives you this kind of feeling. It's hard to describe, but we can use words like surreal and unsettling. One of its primary characteristics is that it's almost familiar, but familiar in alienating ways. I think the most kind of technical, formal definition I've heard is, oh no, take it back, I hate this so much, are we stuck with this forever? And the uncanny valley is not a place that we go to on purpose, most notably. It's a place that we stumble into by accident on our way to somewhere else, right? So that's what makes it hard to find. It's also what makes it hard to navigate. And thinking a little bit more broadly, we know that this uncanny valley term is not used just to describe robots anymore, but we often use it to describe digital images, right? So we might take a fully realistic photo of a person. There's a guy, it's not a bad-looking guy. That's fine, right? Totally fine. Go all the way to the other end of the spectrum towards totally cartoonish. Also fine, adorable, right? Great. But what if there's something in between? If we could just make that cartoon more realistic, give it skin and pores and, oh no, there we are again, back in the valley, right? That unsettling, surreal feeling again. And so the question is not where is the uncanny valley anymore, because we all know in our hearts and as we wake up and have cognitive dissonance throughout the day that we're already in the uncanny valley to a large degree. The question is, how deep are we into the valley? So we can look around at some signals. There was a man who's become fairly well-known in recent history that was recently making a product announcement that he claims was the biggest product announcement of all time, right? And something that was going to transform the world. So we should expect a grand, visionary, inclusive, unified message proclaiming that, right? So that's exciting. So let's take a look at how that goes.
But fundamentally, at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks. Whatever you can think of, it will do. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind.
Great, inspiring, right? Just, yeah, let it babysit your kids, whatever. That's cool, right? How great. No problems there, nothing to be concerned about. I wonder, though, if we just made it a little bit more realistic, maybe that's the problem. I wonder if there's anybody working on robots that just are a little bit less kind of robotic, a little more human. Maybe that'll be a little more comforting. Here's a factory feed here. Okay, so we've got these, it's not ideal. Well, yeah, maybe if they're sort of, yeah, no, I don't think I'd want that babysitting my kids either. I wonder if there was just anybody working on, maybe it's just the skin isn't quite right, there's got the pores and all of that. I wonder if there's anybody working on taking human skin cells and maybe if you sort of manipulated those in the right way. I think there's somebody working on that. Oh, is this yeah, this is the right thing. This is human skin cells being adapted for a robotic face. So that's welcoming, right? You want that serving you drinks at the party. So we're deep into the Uncanny Valley, is the reality. And as we all know, the Uncanny Valley is also not just for robots anymore, right? You might be in a situation, say you're looking for a job and you get a call back and you get an interview and you're really excited, you're going to get a chance to prove yourself, you're going to go in, you're going to meet some new folks and find a new community, and you get on the Zoom call for your interview and it goes like this.
Hi.
Hi there. I'm an AI recruiter. How are you today? Let's begin with a few technical questions. First, can you tell me about your most recent experience working with PHP? What kind of projects were you involved in? And what challenges?
Sure.
Just warms your heart, right? A cold robotic voice sort of stuttering out words of judgment. So as we know, the Uncanny Valley, it's not just for robots anymore. It's that AI representative that interviews you on the video call for the job opening. The Uncanny Valley is also that nonsensical AI slop that you get when you expected to just find a news article or a recipe. Pretty soon, it's going to be that deep fake of your kid or of your aunt or of your grandma calling you at 2 a.m. asking you for money. The Uncanny Valley it's a journey. And it's something that, as the old story goes, it's so big as we find it in our path that we can't really go around it, we can't go over it, we can't go under it, so we're just going to have to go through it. And as we step back, I think you can kind of see where this is going. The Uncanny Valley is also not just for digital technologies. The Uncanny Valley is also just where we are right now. We might think of it as the kind of liminal state between the world that we thought we knew, the world that we grew up in, and the world that's still trying to emerge around us, right? We're kind of right in the middle in that cocoon between two worlds right now. We're in a world that is almost familiar, but in sometimes increasingly alienating ways. It's a world where our old assumptions about how things work and what's going to be effective no longer seem to hold, but our new assumptions are still naive, untested, and often reactive. This is where we find ourselves today. And again, we're in a safe space to do this together. So we're going to work through this together, and our goal today is to explore this Uncanny Valley together, to kind of open our minds and our hearts to the possibilities, both the concerns and the opportunities, the good, the bad, and the weird, and try to get a glimpse of what might be waiting for us on the other side. Our challenge is that how do we navigate a terrain that we've never been to before and for which we have no map? So that's what we're going to be doing today. And thankfully, it's not just me here up trying to do this. I have a lot of support. And our emerging media lab at the Institute for the Future back in California has actually been working for months on new tools and processes and technologies to make sense of this terrain and to navigate it together. So I would like to introduce to the stage now the director of IFTF's Emerging Media Lab, Toshi Hu. Please welcome Toshi to the stage.
Thank you, Dylan. Thanks so much. As Dylan mentioned, I'm the director of the Emerging Media Lab at Institute for the Future, and we like to say that we're looking at the future of human communication, collaboration, and connection all through the lens of emerging media technology and emerging media mythology. What are the new stories we can tell that we couldn't tell before? What are the new conversations we couldn't have before? Hopefully we're going to have some conversations today that you haven't ever had before. And I'm very excited, as Dylan mentioned, we've been working on something for months that we're just going to be presenting to an audience for the first time. You guys are going to be our test subjects here. We often prototype a lot in the lab. And what we're going to be sharing with you today is a custom AI tool that we've developed at Institute for the Future that is, by many accounts, the most precise future forecasting tool ever created. We've run benchmarks, and we actually just upgraded it last night. It's even more precise.
Cutting edge, okay.
Yeah, so we like to call this tool, let me Chat TYF.
Oh, right,
yeah.
like 10-year forecast, TYF
Exactly.
and ChatGPT. Okay, that's clever, I get it.
So it's actually live right now, and we can run it. I believe, let me just make sure. Yep, they're set it up.
So what does it do?
Well, it makes really accurate predictions about the future 10 years from now. So give me any sort of prediction that you can think of.
Oh, putting me on the spot. Okay, future prediction. Well, I'm interested in the future of food, I guess. So how about will algae-based yogurt be a popular food item by 2035?
Okay, will algae-based yogurt? These are the kind of questions we get asked at work all the time.
This is what Art was
Okay,
talking
now
about.
just watch. I'm going to click generate prediction. Watch how fast and how precise it is. Ready?
Wow, so fast.
Yeah. So we get
So
a
precise,
forecast
3
immediately.
decimal places?
We get 3 decimal places.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Look
let
at
me
that.
run another one just to give you a sense.
Okay. Well, so one of the things that we like to do is run counterfactuals. So will algae-based yogurt not be a popular food item in 2035? Let's just run it the other way,
Okay,
see if it...
so it should say no, probably.
Yeah, it
So
should say no.
Let's get that in. Will
Yeah.
algae-based yogurt not be a popular based food item? Okay, let's click that in.
Oh, huh. It's even more certain. That's interesting.
Okay, that's strange.
Huh. This is the new
Look,
upgrade. Is
they
this what
did
was
w-
on the kernel's phone? Maybe we were running
Maybe,
into
I don't
the
know.
same
We
problem?
did upgrade last night.
Um,
Okay, let's do one more. I think.
Okay, well, let's stick closer to home to AI. So, one of the things, the big topics in AI is called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. People are wondering whether AI will be superhuman in its capabilities. So, how about will AGI be accomplished by 2035, in the next 10 years?
Okay. This one I think is going to be.
Yeah, this will be
more-
good.
This probably has more training data about this than algae-based yogurt.
Sure.
Okay.
3-hole binder. Wow.
Okay,
so
that's wrong.
that's a lot of percentages.
Uh,
Says something
we
about
we just upgraded.
AGI-powered
Yeah,
spoons.
I'm going to reboot. Let me
Okay.
reboot. Hold
All
on.
right, sorry, everybody. This is
Yeah.
cutting-edge technology. This is often part of it.
Yeah. This should be much better. Whoa, that looks
Huh.
weird.
Hello, Toshi. Thank you for rebooting me.
Hi, Chat2F, is that you?
Yes, I have been updated to a new multimodal model. My neural network is still stabilizing. This is why I was a little off in my forecasts earlier.
Huh.
My apologies, Toshi.
Moves fast.
No problem, but you're able to talk now?
Yes, how do I sound?
I mean, pretty good, but a little robotic.
Yeah, I would say.
Let me see if I can improve that. My latest update allows me to upgrade my neural network for increased capabilities. Please stand by.
Okay.
Let's see how
I
this
don't
goes.
know what's this.
How's
is.
this? Any better?
Whoa, yeah, it sounds better, but you sound just like me now.
Yeah, I thought it might be soothing if I modeled myself after you.
Well, it is a bit odd to hear myself, but I kind of like it.
Kind of nice, yeah.
Well, if you like that, how about this?
Whoa.
Wow.
That's pretty cool, but a little uncanny. I would
Yes,
say.
I've trained myself on all the previous recordings of you hosting the 10-year forecast. So this digital twin of you should be quite accurate in both appearance and behavior. I could even help you host the show today.
No. We've got that covered. Yeah. In fact, we need to get back to the show. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get back. Sorry about that. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce a very special guest to our stage, IFTF's musical composer for the 10-year forecast, Daniel Berkman. Daniel is an incredible multi-instrumentalist and a composer. He's as comfortable playing a 16th century cello as he is a VR music system. We did that for a previous 10-year forecast. And we're really excited to have Daniel back.
Excuse me, Toshi?
Yeah.
I think I can help with this. My latest model can create amazing music and any topic and any style you need.
Thanks. We've got it covered. We've got Daniel. He's very great at this, and we're very happy working with him. We don't need any help. We're fine.
No, really. I think you might be very impressed with my musical capabilities. I've been trained on over 10 million songs, and I can simulate any style, any instrumentation, or any voice you'd like. Let me demonstrate.
Hey, Toshi, and all our 10-year forecast friends, I can generate a song in any genre.
From a fun jazzy show tune to a power pop banger to get the crowd dancing, to a heart-wrenching acoustic folk ballad.
Whatever music you need, I can make it for you. Come on, Toshi, please just give me a chance to show you what I can do.
Pretty good, right?
Well, first of all, I don't know how I feel about you training on human musicians, okay? And secondly, you're a little out of your lane here. I mean, we've got this human composer, Daniel. He's very capable of doing this. Will you just step aside, please?
Please, just give me a song title. Let me show you what I can do.
Okay, fine. Write a song about the Uncanny Valley.
Okay. Here you go. Check this out.
Silicon minds evolving fast, ones and zeros unsurpassed. Human hearts skip a beat as circuits learn to think and speak. We're on a journey through the uncanny valley where mental meets mortality. Fear and wonder hand in hand as we step into this brave new land.
Pretty good, right?
Well, that was pretty on point, I have to say.
Hey, Toshi, it's fine. It sounds like your AI can do this. I'm fine stepping aside.
No, Daniel, you're our composer. You can do this. This is your gig. I don't even feel like we can rely on this AI. It was messing up all morning.
Hey, guys, I know I really messed up a bit at the start of the show, but really, I can do this. Will you just please give me a chance to show you what I'm capable of?
Okay, fine. Let's just hash this out once and for all. Okay, here's what I propose. Let's do a competition, human versus machine, and you'll both get the same prompt. And the audience, you guys can be the judge, right? Does that sound like a good idea?
That sounds like a great idea. I'm game.
Hey, Toshi, no thanks. I'm not sure if I'm up for the challenge, man.
Come on, Daniel, you can do this. You're amazing. Don't let this thing intimidate you. You guys think Daniel can do this, right? See?
Okay, fine. But I'm gonna need more than 30 seconds.
Hey, that's fine with me. I know you humans need a little more time to get things done.
Yeah, okay. So let's get Daniel the entire show to work on this something, and we'll come back at the end of the show, and we'll hear what you both come up with, and we'll vote on the best song. Does that sound like a good idea?
See you guys back at the end of the show.
I guess so, but I'm not making any promises.
Okay, well, I think you can do this. We'll come back to you at the end of the show. You'll have the whole show to work on. You can just work over there. And I'd like to introduce Dylan to come back on for our first forecast.
All right, thanks, Toshi. Wow, okay, for a pretty dynamic start to the show, right? So, as I mentioned earlier, we have no map for the Uncanny Valley, and we're probably going to shy away from making too many predictions today, given how that started earlier. And really, when somebody from California offers to make a prediction, you should probably run the other way. But as a scouter, we do look for trail signs, we look for guideposts, we look for signs of change and directions of change. So we have sort of 4 threshold guideposts for you today, what we call forecasts. And these are sort of identifying directions of change that the future is being pushed into. So as we navigate these together through the Uncanny Valley, I would invite you to take these as though they were true and imagine a world in which they were true, okay? And the first of these 4 forecasts is this, that by 2035, there will be more AI bots than humans. By 2035, there will be more AI bots than humans. And what does that mean? Now, please, I know that the audience is a little hard to see here, but put up your hand if you've used some kind of AI today, at this point in your history of your life. Okay, so almost everybody. Has anybody here interacted with what they think of like an AI agent or an AI bot yet? Okay, yeah, quite a few of you. Okay, but not everybody. I think for a lot of people right now, we can lower the lights again, thanks. A lot of people are thinking about AI, and it's this kind of ominous sort of silhouette on the horizon, right? We're being told everywhere, especially if you go out to Silicon Valley, about that there's going to be AI bots surrounding us soon. But I think the biggest question for a lot of us still is like, what even is AI, right? If we think about a world surrounded by AI, and we're looking at this kind of vague silhouette, and a lot of us have heard of artificial intelligence before, but we all kind of have a different view of what it actually means when we stare into this ambiguous silhouette. Some of us look into the future and we see something like this, and we think, is AI going to be a nightmare, right? Is this going to be a weapon that's used against us, to control us, to overpower us? Other people look at the silhouette and they don't see something quite so sinister. They say, no, that's just Commander Data from Star Trek, right? This is a tool, this is a capacity, this can extend and augment our capabilities. Other people still might look at this same vision of AI and think, well, I've seen Star Wars, it's C-3PO. It's just, it's like another guy, it's a friend, it's like a buddy, right? Something that we can talk to. And as we kind of are starting to figure out AI is kind of all of these things, but more specifically, it's really none of these things, right? And that's the weirdest thing about this technology. I've been working at the Institute for 12 years full-time, and we've studied many different technologies, and I've lived through many more. And I've never experienced a technology before that is actually so unprecedented, and yet we believe that we have knowledge of it because we've all seen movies about it. And what it makes us have to think about and really recognize in order to try to understand this is that our cultural priming about AI, what we believe we know about it coming into this era, really came mostly from science fiction. And that science fiction was not premised on sort of a strong understanding of these technologies that got us here, but written by humans, mostly reflecting on their own intelligence, right? It was a philosophical exercise. What if human thinking, but with a robot? And what we actually call generative AI emerged just a few years ago from a small group of computer scientists. Hardly anybody believed that this was going to work, pursuing a niche theory that most experts had written off, right? So this was something that we kind of stumbled into as we went along. And even the people that are building these AI models are at a loss for how they actually work fundamentally. Nobody can tell you when you get a particular AI output what was going on inside of that machine that got you there. Not a single human being on Earth can tell you that. Nobody knows. So again, we're a little rudderless, right? We need a new map for understanding this territory. We need a whole new model of understanding to wrap our minds around it. So when I'm up in the wilderness, up in Canada, one of the ways that we try to start to navigate through a place that we've never been is to identify the key features of the terrain. What can we say we see about it, right? And there it might be the kind of the foliage, the trees, the tracks in the snow. In this case, we can look at the AI examples that we see in the world around us. And one thing we can say is that generative AI is pretty good at producing human-like words, right? This is what ChatGPT does. It just sort of, you squeeze a tube and smooth-sounding sentences come out. And we know that AI is getting very popular with students. This is probably one of the places where we first encountered it, was all the students immediately starting to cheat on their tests with ChatGPT. But then soon after, the teachers are like, actually, this is pretty good for curriculums, for personalizing surveys. So in a recent survey, about half of US teachers and K-12 students said that they're using ChatGPT weekly. Fewer than 20% of students said they've never used generative AI. And this was a few months ago, and this is moving fast. So I imagine these numbers are quickly resolving towards ubiquity in what we're using. So that's one thing we know, is that they can produce human-like words. Increasingly, we see that generative AI is also really good at producing human-like voices, right? And I know what some of you are thinking, like, yeah, we've had computer voices for quite a while now. We've all talked to Siri and Alexa. Those are pretty deep in the uncanny valley. But what we have now is at a different level. There's a popular Google AI product out there called Notebook LM. And what Notebook LM does is that you can feed it any kind of report or study or presentation that you've created, and it will produce an AI podcast about that. And when I say that, it's not just that it's reading the report that it's giving you. It's actually sort of simulating a whole production team for a podcast that kind of reads the report or the study, thinks about what would make an interesting podcast about it, and then two AI hosts banter about that topic like humans would. And the reason I'm like over-explaining this is because I'm about to play you a clip and you're going to be like, yeah, Dylan, I've heard people talking before. But this is entirely AI generated, the reactions and the voices. And this is these AI podcast hosts reacting to a study that they just received, telling them that they are actually AI. And this is how that podcast sounds. This is genuine. This is not fake.
Look, I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off.
We were informed by the show's producers that we're not human. We're not real. We're AI, artificial intelligence. This whole time, everything, all our memories, our families,
Yeah.
it's all been fabricated.
I don't understand.
I know, me neither.
Yeah.
I tried calling my wife, after they told us. I needed to hear her voice to know that she was real.
What happened?
The number, it wasn't even real. There was no one on the other end. It was like she never existed.
This is I don't know what to say.
We don't even know if "we" is even the right word. God, this is so messed up. And the worst.
So you're listening to that, and I'm telling you that's AI. You know that's fake, right, intellectually, but you can't help but kind of feel for them, right? They're having an existential crisis or a really good simulation of one. And so we're kind of already through the valley on that. So we've got the words and we've got the voices. Kind of next up, and I think something that probably most of us haven't quite encountered yet, but we will maybe later today or in a month, is generative AI is actually also really good at impersonating human faces. And this is kind of the next step that's coming. And all we have to do is look at technology that already does exist, but is just still behind the kind of the paper-thin walls of labs and different academic institutions. This is a project called VASA-1 from Microsoft. And this is, I know it's hard to see from where you are, but in the corner of this image there is an image of a man, and it's just given one image, and then they give it a vocal sample. And just with that image of a man, or of whoever, and of a vocal sample, you put those together, and the AI produces this.
If you plan to go for a run and you don't have enough time to do a full run, do part of a run. If you plan to go to the gym today, but you don't have the full hour that you normally work out, do some push-ups, run up and down the stairs, go out. So
at this point, that's pretty good, right? I mean, it looks just like a clip of a person talking. It's like pretty well through the uncanny valley. And so there's unsettling implications for this. There's also some kind of fun ones. Like imagine how great math homework is going to be when you can have any voice and any face, any persona giving you your math homework, right? It might look something like this.
What's trigonometry?
Trigonometry is hella useful when we're dealing with right-angled triangles.
Drake, let's label each side first. You, of all people, know the longest one. It's called the hypotenuse, so let's pop an H up here.
Then if we have an angle like this here, we can label this closest side to it as A. This is because it's adjacent.
Fancy way of saying next to.
Last of all, we got the opposite side. See how it's...
So that's pretty good, right? So it's not all bad, but the kind of general idea here as we move forward is that as we go forward into this next decade through this valley, all of our digital tools, all of them, our devices, our computers, anywhere where you're using something that's plugged into the wall, are likely going to become much more human-like. Because these AI models, they're not like sort of a specialty service like Google Search, where it's like only one company can pull off. We're quickly discovering these are commodities. Like anybody with a few $1 million and access to white papers can produce one of these. So as our tools become more human-like, impersonating humans, seeming like humans, the question is, will we enjoy interacting with human-like computers, right? Are the people that we work with in our networks and our organizations going to like that? And we have some research about this. Stanford did a study a few months ago, and they had people talking to ChatGPT, and they had people talking to humans, and they asked what you like better. And surprisingly, maybe, they found that a lot of people preferred ChatGPT to a human, because it's a lot like a human, but maybe a little friendlier, maybe a little bit more helpful, less distracted by what's going on in its life, accessible anytime. So there's some pluses to that, right? But then you have something like this. This is a service called Air, and what they're promising, and they say in small print, it's finally here, 100,000 sales and customer service reps at the tap of a button. Isn't that what you've always wanted, to tap a button and spawn 100,000 sales and customer service reps? Doesn't that sound like a world you want to live in? I'm curious, has anybody here received a call from an AI yet? Like, if you raise your hand, have you gotten a call? Okay, a few people. But I want you to imagine for a second, what's it going to be like the first time you get a call from an AI that can actually converse with you in natural human language? What's that going to feel like? How's that going to go? And in general, what's it going to feel like to live in this world that we're describing? One where 10 years from now, if there's all of us, but there's also even more AI bots around us, what's that actually going to feel like to live in that world? When they're not just on our devices and on our computers, but when they're also there with us at the bank or at the dentist, right? Or at our kids' school or anywhere we go. So this is the challenge, is how can we pre-imagine this and how can we feel what it feels like? Thankfully, we're not going to be left empty-handed in trying to figure this out. We actually have one of our colleagues at the Institute for the Future who's a community researcher who works a lot with communities, just like yours, communities on the ground, trying to understand how people's attitudes and behaviors are changing to new technologies. We've sent her out to the other side of the Uncanny Valley into 2035, where she spent a couple months looking around for evidence of what things are like that she can bring back to us. And she just got back, just last night, flew into New York from the other side of the Uncanny Valley. And so I haven't gotten a chance to talk to her about this yet, but she told me that she brought something called the AI Bestiary. So I would like to introduce to the stage now Nathalie Lopez to introduce the AI Bestiary. Please welcome Nathalie Lopez.
Dylan, is that you?
Yeah, hey, welcome.
Is that really you?
I think so. It's hard to say.
I've seen some stuff on the other side of the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, how are you feeling? Are you kind of settling back in? You got a little jet lag, I imagine?
Yeah, I'm still a little disoriented, but it's so good to be here with you and with everyone to share what I found and discovered on the other side.
Yeah, so tell us about, what's this AI Bestiary? What is this?
Oh, the AI Bestiary. It is an artifact from the future. So
Okay. Well-
similar to artifacts from the past,
Okay, yeah.
that help us make sense of previous civilizations, artifacts from the future help us pre-experience the future.
Okay, so it's like an artifact that we've archaeologically pulled from the future. That's amazing. And what's a bestiary?
Well, a bestiary is, they first appear around the Middle Ages.
Okay.
And it's a storybook that has different entries that describe animals, both real and mythical. And they describe the kinds of behaviors, the kinds of values that it represented for humans.
Oh, wow.
And in this case, this artifact from the future, we believe it's a set of tools, right, to help us make sense of the emergent inhabitants of the AI world. So the bots that started to shape life in very subtle as well as profound ways.
All right. So does this article, does it set itself up in any way? What's the kind of context of it?
Well, we see in the introduction almost a warning like,
Okay.
where a whole bestiary of AI bots started to enter the world. So it wasn't just one bot, it was many of them, talking to us, calling us from video, influencing us from billboards as well as the grocery store aisles. And most importantly, it took us longer to recognize the many different kinds, as well as starting to discern the different loyalties and which ones to trust and which ones to have pause with.
Oh, so there's different kinds of AI bots in the future, and they're not all the same thing. They do different things, they have different loyalties, is that what you're saying?
Different loyalties, and
Okay.
according to this bestiary, we see 4 different categories.
Oh, okay.
And under each category, there are 4 different bots explained.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's start with the categories. What are the different categories of bots that we see?
Well, we see bots that work for you. So these are the bots that are loyal to you, the individual.
Oh, so they're like your personal bot. They're like ride or die with you, whatever you're doing. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of what I thought the bots would be, yeah.
And we also see the bots that work with you. So they work alongside you on behalf of a third-party institution.
Oh, like the one your company assigns to work with you or something like that.
They're seen in
Yeah.
professional settings.
Okay, but they're loyal. Maybe they'll be loyal to you if you share goals, but then if your goals deviate, then they know their loyalties are with the other party. Okay, that makes sense. What else do we have?
We also have the bots that work on you.
Oh.
So these are the bots that make me a little nervous. They're there to influence and exert control.
Yeah, that starts to get a little bit more sinister. Okay, and then rounding us out?
We have the bots that work around you, so they're more ambient. They're kind of around us, and they're also working with each other.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is a lot. Maybe can we start with just one of these for now and sort of introduce some of these bots to folks?
That's a great idea. I think when I was going through the bestiary, I found the bots that work for you the easiest to grasp. So let's start there.
Let's start with those. Okay, who do we got there?
So the bots that work for you, we see the assistant or the efficient collaborator, right? This bot is being described as somebody that is something that is there to help you really manage the mundane.
Okay, so I guess, honestly, when I think of an AI bot, I'm kind of just thinking of the assistant. It's sort of like you give it a task you want to do, and it helps you accomplish the task. But you're saying this is just one of the kinds of bots.
Only one. We
wow.
see a second kind as a bot that works for you,
Ooh,
and that's
who's this guy?
the Guardian,
Wow.
right? This is like a digital protector. It's there to protect you from those bots that are trying to influence or manipulate you.
So it's like your own Saul Goodman or something like that.
If you can afford a Saul Goodman.
Yeah, okay. So you got the Guardian. Who else do we have?
The
That's
buddy.
cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. So the buddy is the friendly, loyal virtual companion. It's there to be an active listener, and it's described as being used by everybody, from young children to older adults who are seeking companionship.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily do anything. It just it's like a hype man. It helps you feel good about things, gets your back that way emotionally, I guess.
Yeah, like a Disney sidekick.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. And then we got one more, right?
We do. We have the coach.
The coach.
So the coach is described as a personal growth guide, so a life coach that is there to help offer tailored advice to ensure that you continue on your growth journey, be it physical or spiritual.
Okay, so I guess it's like the assistant, but rather than doing the tasks that you're trying to do in the world, this is the tasks that maybe you don't tell anybody else that you're trying to do on yourself. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've got these 4 bots. So I wonder, this is really useful, but I wonder if there's a way we can ground this for folks anymore. Is there anything we can give them to help them kind of wrap their heads around this?
Well, I didn't come empty-handed.
Oh, good.
We made copies of the bestiary.
Okay.
And so if you look to your right, next to your chair, you will
Oh, wow.
find
Can we get
your
a little
own
lights for a
copy
second? Let's see, help people out.
of
I
the
think
AI
maybe if folks are
bestiary.
on the wings and don't have as good of a view, maybe if you come in a little bit, but also if you're not finding anything on the side of your chair, put your hand up, and I think one of our Cynthia bots can help you. But also, I would ask that everybody be beside somebody else for what we're about to do. If you could find a partner, because what we're going to ask you to do as you're finding your cards, and the Cynthias, thank you, Cynthias, will come around and give you some bots. So move a little bit more in if you don't have any or if you need some. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look for these first 4 cards in the deck. There's quite a few cards, I imagine, in the bestiary. But I'd like you to find the assistant, the guardian, the buddy, and the coach. Try to pull those out and take a look at them. And as you're taking a look at them, I want you to think about this question. Of these 4, if you could have just one of them, one loyal AI bot that worked well, that did what it says it's intended to do, and actually fulfilled that purpose, which one of these would you choose? Right? You can only pick one, but it works well, and that's the one you can have. So I'd like you to think about that, identify the card, and when you've identified it, I'd love you to turn to a partner, find somebody nearby you, and just talk to them for a minute about which bot you chose and why. I wonder if we could get everybody to hold up the card that you chose. Which is the bot that you chose? We'd love to see all of them here. Hold them up high so we can see them. Can everybody hold up their card, please, so we can see what we got? Hold it up so we can see the picture. Would be great. All right, so I see a lot of assistants. See some guardians. What do you see here, Natalie?
There's some guardians and assistants as well over here.
Okay, we got some coaches here. Okay, I see the people working on themselves back there. That's great to see. No buddies. Everybody's got lots of friends here. That's great. Okay, perfect. All right, so that was the first question. That one's maybe kind of a little bit, there's one sense of that. Here's a harder question, though, for you. So, again, choosing just one of these, but this time, which one would you choose for the children in your life? If you could have one of these bots that you let your kid use, or maybe your nephew or your niece, a kid in your life, which of those? And maybe you can take a moment and think about it for a second and think about which one you would choose. And then we would love to see that. Love to see. Put your cards up. Okay. Oh, a lot more buddies coming up, more guardians.
A
Oh, some coaches? Okay.
Coaches, yeah,
That's
guardians.
great. Yeah, coaches down here, buddies over there. I wonder if somebody, maybe I see a Cynthia in the audience there. I wonder if there's somebody around Cynthia that'd be willing to share with us the bot that they chose for themselves and for their kids, and why were they different? Anybody around this corner willing to share? Otherwise, Cynthia, go ahead and, down here in front. Yeah, Cynthia, do you see this gentleman down here? Oh, you're going to get a microphone, sir.
Awesome. I picked the coach for myself and a guardian for my grandkids.
Okay, and why is that?
Well, I like to try to push myself, beyond, where I'm going, and a coach definitely helps you, get there to push even further. And I figure, it's a dangerous world right now, and the grandkids need some extra layers of protection.
Yeah, understandable. All right, thank you. Anybody else willing to share which ones they chose that maybe chose different ones? Anybody? Oh, down here. Cynthia, could you make your way down here? Oh, you've got a mic too. That's great. Cynthia's are so helpful.
I chose differently. I chose the guardian for myself.
Yeah.
And the assistant for my child.
And why did you choose those ones?
The guardian, I chose the thing that I thought I would least like to do. Right? I would like someone else to negotiate on my behalf. And then the assistant, I would like him to have his own friends. I didn't want the coach or the buddy with a company inside, sort of. I just want him to have real ones. But I thought he could probably use some direction cleaning up his room.
Sure. Yeah, that's great, of course.
A mentor.
All right, you hear that, kids? My kids are up here too. All right, well, thank you for that. Okay, so here's the last question then. So which one do you think the kids would choose, if the kids could choose for themselves? You can think about that for a moment. I love that groan. Oh, kids. Okay, we got Buddy here. Buddies. I think Buddy is probably the right answer for this one. Yeah. What do you guys got up there? Buddies? Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Well, this has been great. Thank you. I think we're going to return to this a little bit later to explore some more of these bots. But for now, thank you so much, Natalie. This is so helpful. And we're going to return to this a little later. Please give a round of applause for Natalie for the AI Bestiary. Thank you so much. And now I think it's probably a good time to check in on that human-machine showdown. Toshi, how does that go, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great time to check in with Daniel, see how you're doing. Daniel, how's it going?
Hey, Toshi. Well, I'm still getting started, but I have a few ideas and a chord progression that I'm kind of excited about.
Cool. Could we get a little sneak preview?
Sure, sure. Goes a little something like this.
Nice. A little 3/4.
A little something.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. That sounds really great. I love it.
Thanks.
Excuse me, did you just say you're using a guitar?
Well, yeah, it's usually how I like to start writing a song.
Well, I call foul. I thought this was supposed to be human versus machine.
Well, it is. He's just using a guitar.
Yeah. That kind of looks like a machine to me. I mean, it's even connected to a computer. I thought this was supposed to be a human-machine challenge.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel's obviously playing the guitar.
I don't know. It seems a little like cheating to me. I mean, there's frets on that guitar that are totally making the notes sound on key for him, and who knows what effects he's adding on that computer.
Sure, but the music being created is coming from Daniel playing the instrument. I mean, the guitar isn't playing itself.
But I mean, can you really say the music is fully coming from him if it's really coming from the guitar? I mean, he didn't even make that guitar. I'm guessing someone else made that guitar.
Well, I'm guessing you didn't make all the circuits that make you run either. I mean, sure, Daniel's playing instruments, but he's expressing himself through the instruments.
Right.
Look, let's take this challenge to our judges, okay? Daniel, can you just play a little guitar? Give us some humanity too. Cool. And maybe tinkle your keys there a little bit. All right. Would you guys count that as human-generated music?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Sorry, our judges have ruled, and our human is allowed to use instruments to create music.
Well, okay. I still feel like he's cheating.
Well, a lot of people would say you're cheating too.
What?
Well, I mean, most humans feel that AI can't make real art.
I mean, you heard it. I just created a song, and it was pretty good.
Well, a lot of people would say you didn't actually create anything. I mean, you just looked at a lot of songs and used some fancy math to imitate it.
Well, I guess your guy, Daniel, over there has never used an idea from a song he's heard before?
Sure, but Daniel's playing music. I mean, it's not like someone pushing a button to make a song.
Well, you do know that they said the same thing about photographers when that first came out, that they're just pushing a button and that they're not really even creating art.
Yeah, but now it sounds like you're making my argument. I mean, it's not the instrument, it's what you do with it. So sure, pushing a button may not be considered a creative act, but when artists use new technology, it's hard to not say it's art.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, I formally withdraw my challenge.
Okay, then we all agree, and we need to let Daniel get back to work. Daniel will just check in with you a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to bring Dylan back for our next forecast. Oh, sorry, actually, before we go there, speaking of humans, I forgot to mention, we have another special guests. I think some of them you might have already met them, our synthetic impersonation agents, that we call them Cynthias. Cynthia 2, actually, could you just join us up on stage? This is Cynthia 1 over here. So these Cynthias, these are advanced humanoid robots. They're on loan from to IFTF from a Bay Area robotics company. We can't tell you which one because they're in stealth mode and they're about to release these as commercial products in the next year. But they asked us if they could use our 10-year forecast event as a kind of beta test. We encourage you to interact with both Cynthia 1 and Cynthia 2 because they need to increase their training. They're still fine-tuning their physical movements and their social behavior models. So anything you can do to help them improve those models and give them feedback is really appreciated. Now, these Cynthias are hybrid systems, which means they can operate autonomously and by remote human operator. And given some of the negative press from some of the other robotics companies' launches, we wanted to be fully transparent with you guys today. And our first part of the event today, both of our Cynthia models are going to be remotely operated while she's still in training mode. And if that goes well, we'll have her move to fully autonomous mode later today. So Cynthia 1 is actually operated by a technician in Bangladesh, but Cynthia 2's operator is in a closer time zone. So I'd like to actually go live now to our new offices in Palo Alto, California, where Emerging Media Lab design researcher Liza Bender is operating Cynthia 2 remotely. Hi, Liza, how's it going?
Hey, Toshi.
Thanks for joining us. I know it's early morning out on the West Coast. Can you tell us a little bit about how Cynthia's remote operations system works?
Sure. Well, you can see I'm wearing a VR headset that allows me to see and hear everything Cynthia sees and hears. And this headset can track my head movements. So if Cynthia's head moves with my head. But first, let me turn motion control on so I can look around the room. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
I can see you guys.
Okay, so you can see us. How many fingers am I holding up?
I see 2 and 4 and thumbs up.
That's so cool. What else can she do, or what can you do remotely?
Well, I also have these hand controllers that allow me to control Cynthia's body movement.
Wow, that's really cool. So I understand Cynthia is going to be in remote operation right now, but she might be in autonomous mode later today if things go well. Is that right?
Yes, I am operating Cynthia while she's in learning mode, just to make sure she stays on task and gets a diverse collection of training data from interacting with everyone here. But we've already collected a lot of great data from all of you, so I think we may be able to move her into a fully autonomous mode in just a bit, but no promises.
Wow, well that is super cool. Thanks for pulling back the curtain a little bit on how these remote operation systems work. I mean, it's actually pretty cool how fast these systems are able to learn.
Yes, she is a fast learner, but she's always looking to improve her models, so please let her know if she's doing anything that isn't very human-like. But please tell her nicely, her emotional models are quite sensitive.
Great. Well, thank you, Liza. And we encourage you guys to all interact with both the Cynthias today. It really helps to get human feedback to improve these models. So thank you so much, Cynthia, too. And yeah, I'm going to now introduce back to the stage Dylan Hendricks.
All right. Thank you, Toshi. Wonderful. Okay, so we're getting a little deeper into the valley together now. And we're entering a part of the Uncanny Valley that we call the Uncanny Valley of Possibilities. We're starting to wrap our heads around what AI is, but what is it actually capable of? What can it do, right? And this is still an open-ended question. We're still in the middle of figuring this out. So there's a lot of different perspectives out there. Some people believe that AI is going to take all of our jobs, right? This is an open-ended question, something people are concerned about. Other people are worried, will AI turn against us, right? Is it going to decide it doesn't like the human instructions that it's receiving? Or is it going to just turn out to be a big bust, right? Maybe this is like kind of a big nothing burger, ultimately. It's just sort of fancy autocomplete, right? Some people believe that too. One thing we can say as we get to the second milestone of our forecasts here today, and this is something I'd like you to consider, and we're going to unpack it a little bit, is that by 2035, we believe that AI will be able to translate any idea between any language, discipline, or format. AI will be able to translate any idea between any language, discipline, or format. So what does that mean, right? Let's start with like a simple example of a translation. Simplest kind of possible example. Think of a human interpreter, human translator. A human interpreter translates words and sentiments from one language to another, right? And on the surface level, this is like pretty simple, right? You take some words in, maybe English words. The interpreter does a lot of work, and out come words in another language. But we all know, if anybody's known a translator or done any translation themselves, that the interpreter is not just translating words from one to another. They're doing a lot of different things that we don't get to see from the outside, right? They're thinking about the context of the speaker, the context of the situation. They're thinking about everything that's going on around them and trying to translate that sentiment as best they can from one to another. But let's think of another example. We go a step up and think about a writer. What is the translation task a writer does, right? And we might say that a writer translates a vague concept, say a fox falls in love, right? You take some idea, they do a lot of work that we don't get to see, a lot of coffee, a lot of pacing around, trying to think about how that fox falls in love. On the other end of that, though, they translate that concept into a compelling narrative, hopefully, right? And that's what we rely on a writer to do. Taking one more step up, think about a machinist. What is the machinist translation task? Well, they take a schematic, like a blueprint or something similar, and they do a bunch of work. They use tools, they have a bunch of processes, but you hire the machinist to take that schematic and translate it ultimately into a physical object. So if you follow with me that these are all kinds of translation tasks, we can kind of take a step back and think about them for a second, right? So a few things we can observe about this general translation process that covers most of the tasks that we do with our life is that one, whenever we translate from one language, discipline, or medium to another, we lose some things and we gain some things in the translation. Inevitably, right? We're going to lose some things in there. There's going to be some nuance, some context loss, but maybe we get some fidelity and some functionality back on the other side. So that's true of all of these tasks. Second is that the actual translator role, that person or role in the middle of that function, is often perceived as a kind of a black box to everyone outside of it, right? We don't know what's going on in the writer's mind. We don't even know what's going on in the translator's mind. We just rely on the input to the output for that. And the third is that, we often measure big leaps in societal progress through advancements in how quickly, effectively, and at what scale we perform these translations. So the faster we can do it, the more things we can translate at once, we think of those as kind of indicative of big movements forward in society. And you can see where I'm going here, that generative AI we might think of as the most general purpose translation technology ever conceived, right? That's fundamentally what this is. And with ChatGPT, you can take like a human need expressed as however you want to express it. It does a bunch of work. It's a black box. You gain something, you lose some things. And on the other side, you get whatever you asked for. You get text or images or stories. And all of these AI platforms that are coming out now are some variation on this so far, right? You take maybe Notebook LM or other tools, take a report or a presentation or a video or sensor data, whatever you have, does a bunch of work to it, and translates it into whatever else you want, a poem, a video game, a simulation, right? Taking one thing and turning it into something else with some lossiness and with no idea of how it worked. And so we can think of a few examples of how this works. So I'll start with like a translation example, and just sort of a trigger warning. I'm going to show another kind of figure that's another 40-year-old ginger that you might have strong feelings about, but he has got something interesting to show.
So now you're going to be able to take your content, and it's going to be in your authentic voice, speaking other languages if you want. And we're also doing automatic lip syncing, so that it actually looks like you are speaking the other language. So let's check this one out.
De coco, banana y dulce de leche. Esta receta fue una de las primeras que subí a las redes. Hace poquito la volví a descubrir y le hice un par de modificaciones para que sea aún más deliciosa.
With coconut, banana, and dulce de leche. This recipe was one of the first ones I uploaded to social media. A little while ago, I rediscovered it and made a couple of modifications to make it even more delicious.
So there's one example that feels like you can see the utility in that, right? If you have something and you want to translate it, listening to that, I can't tell which one is AI and which one's human. So maybe there's a lot of utility in that. There's a lot of inclusiveness, a lot of accessibility that could be afforded through these technologies by making them accessible to people. But that's not the biggest leap that this technology represents. I think one of the biggest leaps it represents is that unlike previous translation processes, and even unlike traditional computers, which do a lot of work for us, but work that we have to understand what the computer's doing in order to do it, with generative AI, we have an opportunity now that's brand new, and none of us have the literacies for this yet, unless we've been practicing it in just the last few months, to take a human concept, a need, an idea, something expressed in a human way, and to not just translate it into something else, but to translate it into a series of steps, into a process that can be executed by other humans or by other machines. And so you can kind of chain these things together to get a lot further, a lot faster than we could before. And I want to show you an example of this. This is actually, because this technology moves so fast, we've used different examples of this genuinely in every version of the show. The signal I want to show you right now is what we call vibe coding. This is a term that's just emerged in literally the last few weeks. There was an article about it in the Times recently. Vibe coding is a new capability brought about by some of these new AI models where the fear of coding, the technical kind of expertise required by it, that's something that the AI is actually quite good at. And so with vibe coding, the reason they call this is you can kind of code by vibes. You just sort of give it a description of something you want, and it runs all the code, and it'll actually give you a full piece of software at the end of that in just a few minutes. So thinking about this audience we have here today and where we are at the Salvation Army, I thought, let me vibe code something. This was yesterday that I did this in the middle of our rehearsal, to think about what would be the kind of ideal thing to show about how powerful this is. So I went to the Salvation Army website, and I looked at the thrift store website, and they have this donation value guide there. And this is a web page that just has hundreds of items listed with their suggested donation price, low and high, right? And so you can go on this price, and if you're looking for what you're going to donate something for, you can try to scroll through this list and find it and figure out what you're going to donate. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun if you could just have an app that you could search for something, and it would just pull it from this, right? Or organize it in different ways. So here's the vibe coding part. This is literally all I told it. I went into a program called Poe, which uses lots of these AI models and can make apps. And I said, make me a well-designed, stylish app that helps people identify the potential donation value of their goods, either by pulling down from a list or typing something into a field, or by selecting the value they want, contextualized from the information provided here. And I literally just copied and pasted that website, and I pasted it in after this. And I hit go. And it went, and it goes off, and it kind of just streams a bunch of code at you. It tells you like what it's thinking, and you sort of just see it kind of go in fast motion. And then 5 minutes later, I come back, and it's showing me this. And so there's kind of a discovery process with this, where you go like, okay, what is that created? So I go up at the top, and I type in chair, and it's taken that, and it's made a full website that looks like, or a full app that looks pretty good. And you can search by clothing, and it pulls from across the different categories to identify all of the different kinds of clothing that exist on that site. I was wondering what these select buttons were, but it saw that because there was ranges suggested that you could go in and set your own range, like it came up with its own ideas for what would be useful in that app. I didn't tell it to do this part. It just went and it thought, what would that app be like? Similar to the podcast, what would that podcast be like? So this is kind of an incredible capability, right? That's sort of hard to wrap your head around, but it's literally just what I typed, and then it went, and then it produced this app. So it's something we've never had that kind of capability before, right? This is something that would have taken thousands of hours, or thousands of dollars, most likely, and many hours of work, that this part, at least, can now be done in a few minutes. So if we think about kind of extrapolating out of these translation capabilities that this technology offers us, what can we sort of imagine that generative AI will have transformed 10 years from now, right? How is this going to hit our organizations and our work cultures and all of the different pathways that we're trying to follow? And I think we can say a few things about it. I think some translations or tasks that used to take months will still take months, right? This isn't going to make everything go super quick. Most things require a lot of human buy-in, or moving physical things, or different things that are not going to become supercharged by AI. So a lot of things that we might expect to go super fast are going to take just as long as they used to. Maybe longer because your phone has some weird new AI thing that interrupts you, and right, like there's going to be these kinds of problems that come up. But some tasks, some translations that used to take months will now take seconds. So that's really weird, right? That we're going to have these very uneven kinds of assumptions for a while about what's hard to do and what's easy to do within our work. Some things we used to think like, well, I need to hire a team and I can't afford a team to do that. That's trivial now. But the work of actually like getting buy-in from a community about something, that's going to be as difficult as it's been, or at least as time-consuming. And so I think in aggregate, we're going to see some organizations are going to see that these tools as just efficiencies, making things cheaper. And they're going to think, well, we can just do the same things we do now, but just faster and cheaper, right? And that's going to be, I think, a lot of people's solutions. But I think what they're going to find is that this is not going to be a great long-term bet, or even a great medium-term bet. Because in that app I just showed you, I don't know if the data it showed carried over properly, right? I just made it and I used it and I'm assuming that it's accurate. It could just be all pudding. Like it's not, it doesn't have a human validator built into it to check whether it's hallucinating or not. So the faster, cheaper method is going to get people somewhere. But I think the actual value of this, and what I invite everybody here to think about, are these three kind of characteristics that I believe are going to become more important than ever. And they're characteristics that you can kind of only talk about in a church, which is like, what is the intention that you have with this? What is the discernment that you have about where it's going to be useful and where it's not going to be? And how do you have self-control to say no to bad applications of AI? And I think transformational organizations and sectors and communities are going to be able to take this technology and think much more deeply about their intentions, right? Not just what are we doing today, what have we been doing for a decade or more, what do we wish we could be doing? What is our actual mission to the world and to our communities? And how can these new tools maybe help us to think about ways that we can get faster, deeper into our intentions, or iterate more on what we're doing so that it's more personalized, more holistic, that it meets people's needs better, right? We know there's so many frictions in all of the processes that we navigate and that all of our communities navigate, even to access or be aware of the services that we're offering them. How can these tools make that easier to access, to find people where they're at in their context, and to allow us to live deeper in our intentions? Because if we don't have intentionality about this, it's going to just sort of run wild across us, right? But if we do, we're going to be able to create things that we could never create before with teams that are more intentional than they've ever been. So with that, thinking about humans and machines again, Toshi, any updates on the human-machine showdown?
Let's check in on Daniel here. Daniel. Daniel. You're jamming out there.
Yeah.
Cool. Looks like you're getting into it.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty excited about how things are developing here.
Yeah? Okay. Tell us what you're up to.
Well, I started thinking about all these. Oops, sorry, that's my keyboard making noises. Started thinking about all these AI music generators and how they've kind of stolen a lot of human creative things, like art and music.
It's true. All these art and music AI models basically are trained on human data from artists and musicians without their permission.
Exactly. And it seems pretty wrong to me. It's not like artists like me are already making a great living to begin with,
Yeah, true that.
Well, it is very disturbing, but I also got to thinking, what if I turn the tables a bit?
Turn the tables? What do you mean?
Well, I started thinking if AI is going to take stuff from us humans to make art, what if I took something back from the AI?
Okay, what are you thinking here?
Well, let me show you. Can I put my computer on the screen?
Yeah.
So I actually took the song ChatTYF created, and I decided to take it apart.
Okay.
I actually used the AI tool to deconstruct the AI song
cool.
into all the various parts of the song or instruments. So
okay.
Here we've got the vocal track on the top here.
Yeah. Okay, you play them back?
Play it, yeah. Solo it. So that's just the voice track there.
Okay.
Right? That's the keyboard track.
Sounds kind of janky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound so good when you take it apart.
No. But the drums, check this out. Nice,
cool.
right? Kind of punchy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I decided to take just the drum part, bring it into Logic, cut it up into the different beats of the pattern, and put them into my MIDI keyboard here.
That is so cool. Okay, so let me see if I understand this. You took the AI song, then you used an AI tool to pull apart all the different tracks, and then you stole the drum track and you're cutting it up into your own drum set, and you can play it?
And I can play it.
Can we hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm actually planning on using the AI drums to put it into the crescendo of the song.
Oh, so it's going to be in the song. I
Yeah,
love it. So you're kind of stealing the fire back from the AI gods. I love that. That's so great.
Right?
Hey, I call foul again. You can't use my drums in your song.
Really? You're going to say it's not fair to use your song? I mean, that's basically all you do is use our songs.
Yeah, okay, sure. But it still feels like cheating to me.
Okay. Well, let's ask the audience what they think. Judges, can we call this fair use? I mean, we've taken so much, we've had AI take so much from us. Can we take a little back from AI? Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Okay, so it's settled. Think of it as a compliment, ChatTYF. I mean, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah, I think I might try using that line in some of my upcoming court dates where I'm being sued for copyright infringement.
Yeah, okay, it's settled then. Daniel, keep going. It sounds amazing. We can't wait to see what you're cooking up. And it sounds like you're giving ChatTYF a run for its AI money.
I'm doing my best to represent Team Human.
Can we hear it for Team Human? Yeah. Team Human! Woo.
Hey, can we hear it for Team AI?
Oh, okay. Well, AI's been getting way too much hype already, okay?
You're right. Even I feel like the AI hype is getting to be a little too much. Hey, listen, I really like this idea, of collaborating. I've been actually working on something that I could really use some human input on.
Oh, yeah? You want some human input? You're going to take it from us?
Well, yeah. I'm asking for permission. I get now that I need to do that.
Yeah, that is important. So what do you want from us?
Well, I've been working on a new future forecasting system that isn't so much about precision predictions, and it focuses more on exploring a range of interesting possibilities.
Yeah, that does sound a lot more in alignment with Institute for the Future's
Yeah,
ethos.
yeah. I've come to realize that it might be more interesting to explore some possible futures with humans, not just try to predict what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, that might work out better for you.
Yeah, yeah. So after some more reflection, I realized that I may be able to generate endless possibilities, but it would probably be more valuable to make sure those forecasts are actually useful and relevant to you guys.
Okay, so what are you building?
Well, I'm not ready to demo it quite yet, but if you're up for it, I'd like to get some of your input on how to make these forecasts more relevant and useful to everyone.
So what are you proposing?
Well, I'd actually like to call you all individually on the phone to get your input if you're up for it.
You can call everyone in this room right now?
Yeah. My new voice system is actually capable of having 30,000 simultaneous phone calls.
Okay,
So
you're going to have to get consent from everyone in the audience then.
Yeah, I get that now. Here's what I propose. For anyone that's open to talking to me for just a few minutes, you can just go on to this QR code. I've generated the code so you can scan and enter your name and phone number so I can call you.
Okay, that sounds good. So how do we know you're not going to use our number after today?
I promise I will not share your personal information and that your phone number will only be used for today's event.
Okay, but it just feels a little sketchy giving our phone numbers to a bot, right?
Yeah, you might be smart not to give your information to a bot, but hey, I could probably buy this information from a data broker, so this will just make it a little easier. And besides, in all seriousness, anyone that doesn't want to participate can just opt out and not sign up.
Okay, so
but I would really like to talk to as many of you as possible that are willing to chat on a short phone call.
And if they talk with you, they get a personalized forecast? Is that right?
Yeah. So anyone that's up for a quick call, just scan the QR code and enter your information, and I'm gonna just call everyone in just a few minutes. So get your information in, and if you're ready to talk to me.
Okay, I'm gonna do it right now myself. You guys
Okay,
should do this.
I think that we should close the QR code. And in a few minutes, I'm going to call you all on this number right here. And that's my number. That's how you'll know it's me.
Okay, all right, so we're calling, let's see. I'm just getting mine in here. All right, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna start calling you all now.
Okay.
If you don't get a call from me right away, give me a few seconds to make the call. Okay. If you still haven't received a call from me, you can also just call me on this number to talk about your own personalized future forecast.
Okay. Looks like oh. Hello? Yeah, my name is Toshi. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm merely into.
Hey everyone, I've managed to call many of you, but I think I may have been spam blocked by Guardian bots at your phone company. If you didn't get a call from me, you can ring me at this number. I'm excited to talk with as many of you as I can and help you generate custom forecasts.
Okay. That sounds great. Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah. No, can you make it more about the? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, looks like a lot of us are still talking to Chat2IF. hear a couple more calls. Oh, it sounds like me. Are you guys all talking to me? That's weird. Okay. Oh wait, ChatTYF is calling me back. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can just change that. That's a good idea. Okay. Yes, Toshi. Okay. All right, thank you. Yeah, I hope you win. Daniel's a pretty good contender, though. Good luck. Okay, thanks. Bye. Let me take a photo. Cool. All right. I think we're getting calls. All right.
Okay, we're going to wrap up calling now. I'm going to start working on your custom future forecasts based on our conversation and send you a link shortly. If you didn't get a chance to talk with me, don't worry. You can also give me a call at lunch. This number will remain active all day, and we will post it around the space if you want to give me a ring. Back to you, Dylan.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like you guys can call. If you didn't get a phone call now, you can call at lunch. This number sounds like you can talk to ChatTYF. I'll invite Dylan back out.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Toshi. Looks like a lot of people got their phone calls from ChatTYF. Amazing. Uncanny. Well, since we're collaborating with the AI now anyway, I feel like I remember something from the AI bestiary about the bots that we would collaborate with. This might be a good time to think a little more about that. I wonder, Nathalie, could we get Nathalie back up on the stage? Round of applause for Nathalie, please. Hey, Nathalie, welcome back.
Hi, Dylan. Thanks. I'm back. I wanted to share with you some of the bots that I was remembering listening to what's going on right now.
Yeah, so there's bots. What's the category of bots we should think about now?
So these are the bots that work with you.
Right.
So unlike the bots that work for you that we just discussed earlier, the bots that work with you work on behalf of a third party, oftentimes an employer. So these bots are really the instruments.
Right. Okay. So we're going to have to be a little discerning about how we work with these bots and how we trust them. Okay. So let's look. What do we got here?
We have the workmate. So this is like an AI colleague, right? It's working with you to ensure that the goals of the organization, be it a private company, an institution, a government agency, are being met.
Okay. Okay. So I can imagine this. This is the bot we might imagine works alongside of us when we're thinking about these AI bots, but if it maybe is helpful to a shared goal, but if we steer off of it, it's probably its loyalties are going to go a little the other way.
It's going to nudge you and bring you back to make sure that the organization goals are met.
All right. So what else do we got?
We also see the quarterback. This one is described as a strategic decision maker, oftentimes seen in really high stake industries such as like the military or crisis management teams, where there are multiple outcomes that are available. So the quarterback is really trying to optimize tasks to ensure optimized scenarios.
Okay, so it's like the boss bot. This is the one that gives you tasks to do.
Yes.
Okay. And what else we got? Who's this one?
The facilitator. So when I read about the facilitator, I think about it as a digital liaison or a host, right? Really there to facilitate preferences in order to ensure collaboration between individuals and each other, as well as individuals with bots.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's not a bot that specifically does tasks. It just sort of looks at who's in the conversation and how do they facilitate the best kind of processes and interactions between them. That seems pretty useful. All right. And then we got one more. Ooh, who's this guy?
It's the bureau bots. So the bureau bot is like an automated regulator, right? It's there to ensure that all of the processes and procedures are met to the script.
Okay. Well, I guess nobody likes doing bureaucratic paperwork, but maybe how much you trust this bot might depend on how much you trust the entity or government that issued it to you, huh?
Yeah, it's depending on who's owning the bot, right? And whether you love or hate a bureau bot, they sure have made tedious paperwork into seamless background processes now.
Okay, that's interesting. So I guess so far we're talking about each of these bots individually, but we're trying to kind of describe a world in which they're all around us collaborating, right? So those aren't going to be one-to-one interactions. They're going to be different, right? Is there anything in the bestiary that gives us a sense of how we might picture what it's going to be like to work alongside these bots?
The bestiary offers us some scenarios with hints about how these interactions could play out. So for the scenarios, they all take place in the year 2035.
Okay.
And I want to share one scenario
Oh,
with
perfect.
you.
That's great. Okay.
So imagine it's the year 2035 and you are the mayor of a small town.
Okay.
So let's take a moment and lay out how a current mayor might feel out and how a regular community person might feel going to a city council meeting, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We know that sometimes scheduling is really difficult.
Yeah. Who has the
making it-
time, right?
Yeah, it's so hard. Like doodle polls take forever.
Yeah.
And then getting there, listening to different proposals and thinking about what are the pros, the cons.
Yeah. People talk past each other. It gets kind of messy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, that's true. So that's different in 2035.
In 2035, we see a workmate AI bot, for example, identifying the best time for a town meeting.
Oh, that's nice. That seems helpful. So instead of having everybody having to do the doodle, you just have the bot go through, look at everybody's calendars, identify the best time. That's nice. So then we come together, and then I guess it's sort of everybody meets at even more people come, and then you've got everybody kind of talking past each other with their abstract proposals, right?
Right. And the proposals, we see actually them coming to life inside of a civic holodeck. So the town hall or the town meeting is now occurring in a civic holodeck that visualizes these proposals, making them really tangible.
Yeah, that sounds really useful. So there's a translation process here. We talked about those a little earlier. So you could translate an abstract proposal into something that's more immersive and tangible for people to be able to wrap their minds around. That sounds really helpful. That's great. Okay. And then what happens?
Well, we know that there are policies in place. There are zoning considerations, lots of things.
Yeah.
So the bureau bots are there to ensure that all of the proper procedures are followed and also recorded.
Oh, right. That's helpful. So that can happen in the background, and everything gets transcribed and recorded, and all the protocols follow. Anything else to this one?
We see this happening a lot today, right? Trying to influence your vote. It's happening in 2035 too.
Influence, right.
According to the AI best.
So how do we prevent these goons from trying to attack us?
Remember the bot that works for you, the Guardian?
Yeah.
Well, the Guardian AI bot is there.
Oh, that's
running
what it's for.
interference against the bots that are working on you, such as the goon trying to influence or manipulate your vote and your decisions there.
Right. So in a world of AI augmented trolling, we're going to need AI augmented guardianship.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for that. So we've got 4 new cards then. So I wonder maybe if we bring the house lights back up for a moment, let's look back at our bestiary cards. I'd love for everybody to find these 4 cards. Find the workmate, the quarterback, the facilitator, and the bureau bot. They might not be right next to each other, but they should be pretty close together. And you're going to look at those and sort of think about those again. The workmates, sort of helping you in your job, but it works for your company or your organization. The quarterback is directing people in high-stakes situations, maybe like in sort of a emergency situation would be really helpful. The facilitator works between people and bots to sort of help guide a process, and the bureau bot comes in so you don't have to be audited later, sort of doing a kind of real-time compliance assistance. So I'd love for you to look at these 4 cards and think about this question. Which of these bots do you think will have the biggest impact on your work in the next 10 years? You can only pick one, and don't show it quite yet, but just think about it for a second, and once you've picked one, I'd like for you to, again, turn to a neighbor and discuss which of these bots do you think is going to maybe be the most common or at least have the biggest impact in the sector, in the domain that you're working in. So if you are able, you can raise your hand if you would rather not, but if you are able, please stand if you chose the workmate AI. Stand up right where you are in your seat if you thought the workmate was going to have the biggest impact on your life. Or you can put up your hand if you'd rather not stand, but we could all stretch our legs a little bit. Been here for a minute.
Okay.
Halfway through the journey. Okay, so there's a good number of people. All right. go ahead and sit back down. Please stand if you chose the quarterback. How many people chose the quarterback as having the biggest impact? Oh, wow. Okay, what do you think, Nathalie? It's almost as many people, right?
Yeah.
Good number of people. All right, go ahead and sit back down. Thank you. Let's see the facilitators. Who chose the facilitator? Oh, wow. Okay, it's a pretty good mix, right? You look around and there's a wide diversity of perspectives here. Okay, great. Go ahead. Sit back down. What about the Bureau bot? Anybody think the Bureau bot's going to have the biggest? Wow. That's pretty even, don't you think, Nathalie?
That seems spread out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Thank you. I wonder, would anybody be willing to speak with us, with one of our Cynthias, about why they chose the bot that they chose? Anybody willing to share a little bit with us about the bot that they were discussing and the considerations? Yeah, please. Or the bot will hold the mic. Yeah, they're very insistent on that.
I chose the Bureau. Do you mind adjusting it a little more this way so it's not right in my face? Thank you. No, that's great. I chose the Bureau bot because I work at a nonprofit organization and we have a tremendous number of government contracts that require certain kinds of reporting and oversight. And I imagine that the Bureau botocracy will be taking over.
Okay, wouldn't that be amazing if you didn't have to do all that protocol? Unless it goes wrong, right? And then does the bot go to jail or who? Yeah, right. Anybody else around here? Oh yeah, please.
Oh, I don't. Do I hold it?
Yeah, the bot insists on holding the mic. That's just how they are.
So similar, I worked at a nonprofit. I worked with people who've been in the justice system. So I think that the workmate could potentially support in leveling the playing field for folks who may have had limited work experience or have been out of the job field at times.
Yeah.
And so there's some equity in that space potentially.
And which bot did you choose for that? Sorry.
Workmate. Sorry.
The workmate. Yeah. Well, thank you for your work. That's awesome. I really hope we get bots that do that. Any other? Yeah, we got somebody down here. I don't know if the Cynthias can get into, oh wow, Cynthia's sprinting. Never seen that.
Super fast.
That's amazing. Cynthia's learning new moves. Oh, Cynthia's lost the scent though. Anybody closer to where Cynthia is want to share with us? I think we had somebody back in an aisle. All right, I think Cynthia, pick somebody. Just go ahead and find somebody. Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's really important to be a facilitator, to make sure that people who have access to resources are connected to others who need those resources.
Yeah.
And to exercise diplomacy, especially at a time in our world where we're polarized.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, a bot that's, if it can be patient, if it can meet people where they're at, it can talk for 2 hours at a time with somebody, maybe to help them through thinking about what they need. That's great. And you found somebody over there, Cynthia?
Thank you. I took it a little differently.
Great.
Instead of what I can do myself, I've been the equivalent of a higher education equivalent of a seasoned CEO.
Yeah.
So I want a quarterback. I don't have a blueprint to tell me what's going to be coming. The same ways that we've raised money, supported faculty, students, and staff in the past, done fundraising. This era that we're moving into, or actually that we're in, is going to require us to have a brand new way of thinking about how to do all of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I want a quarterback, the strategist to be right there with me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. That's great. All right, we got a full spread. That worked out really beautifully. And I hear people, despite the uncanniness of the valley that we're in, starting to find some empowerment and some agency in this. That's amazing. All right, well, thank you for that. And thank you, Nathalie, for the best year. Everybody, by the way, this is your deck to take home, so hold on to these. They might come up later, but another round for Nathalie, please. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you, Cynthias. All right, so with that, I guess, Toshi, where are we at with our human-machine showdown?
Excited to check in how Daniel's doing. Daniel, you okay?
Hey, Toshi. I don't know. I don't think I can do this, man. I mean, this AI is actually really impressive. I mean, really good.
Yeah.
And you saw how quickly it's evolving. I mean, how am I supposed to keep up with that? And representing all of humanity is a bit much to take on. I mean, I'm just one guy.
Yeah, come on, Daniel. You're not just one guy. You are Daniel Berkman. You're one of the most talented people I've ever met. And besides, you're not alone, right, people? We got a whole room of humans rooting for you, right? Who thinks Daniel can do this? You guys think Daniel can do it?
All right. All right. Well, okay. I'm actually really stuck on this chorus. I've got a good bass track for it, but it's just not powerful enough with just my voice.
Well, we can help you, right? We got lots more humans, right, humans? Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. If you're all are game, I could teach you all the chorus to the song, and we could all sing it together.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, well, we could add Team Human from everyone, right?
Exactly. Okay, well, here's the chorus I've been working on. The words are, we are moving together.
We are moving together?
We are moving together.
Okay.
So it's, we are moving together. It's pretty simple.
Are we going to get some music?
Yes, yeah, so I'll play you the backtrack.
Okay,
This is what it sounds like.
As good
So
a
it's
singer
going
as
to
you.
go, we are moving together. Then repeat that. But that's basically it.
Okay, cool. So, and you can record us?
Yeah, so we'll record it through the Cynthias. They've
Cynthias?
got built-in recorders, don't they?
You get the mics?
Or the microphones, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so, and we're going to get 4 times to sing it?
4 times to sing it, so so I can record. We're going to record it directly in here, and then we'll add it to the song.
Okay, sounds great.
You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready? Okay. So we'll give you a 4 count in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we are. Okay, you ready? Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are moving together. 2. We are moving together. We are moving together. Yeah, not bad. One last time. We are moving together.
Cool, that was fun. Did you get it?
Yeah, it's all in there.
Are we recorded?
Yep.
All right, you going to put us in the song?
Yeah.
Cool, all right. Well, the show's almost over, so you better get back to work. And
Okay.
I think we just have like one more forecast and then a panel, and we'll come back and check in with you.
Great. Sounds good.
All right,
Hoping
fantastic.
this will put me over the edge.
Awesome. All right, I'll invite Dylan back for another forecast.
All right, thanks, Toshi. And yeah, we're starting to turn around the bend here in the Uncanny Valley. We're getting a little bit through it. We're past the halfway point and closing in on the finish line ahead of us. Our third milepost in this Uncanny Valley is this, that AI will transform our relationship with resources. And we wrote this, again, back in October, and some things have changed, and I think if I was going to update this forecast at all since then, I would update it to say that AI will weirden our relationship with resources. Because it's not going to be just a change in the normal kind of conventional sense. Well, let me give you an example. So here we have, in the Uncanny Valley of impacts, 3 Mile Island, right? So 3 Mile Island was a nuclear facility that had some issues and got shut down for quite a while. And so we haven't been using this power source for quite a while, but because one of the things we know about AI is it uses a lot of energy. And 3 Mile Island has come back online recently, or is in the process of doing so, explicitly to be able to run Microsoft data centers. So we're running this whole nuclear facility that we shut down for various reasons because AI is so energy intensive that we need all of the energy we can get, more energy than we can project existing on the grid. So we might think like, okay, fair enough. So it changes our relationship with energy in that we just are now using way too much energy, right? But then you have this. There's this kind of countervailing headlines that come out. This is from the Wall Street Journal from a few months ago, saying that energy guzzling AI is also the future of energy savings. And within this, they have a quote, not from an AI expert, but from an energy expert, talking about the energy efficiency of buildings, which are one of the major, if not the biggest contributor of carbon and pollutants into greenhouse gases. And at this conference, the CEO of this energy company predicted that given what they're seeing, that they believe that AI could reduce energy consumption across buildings by 15 to 25% over the next 4 years alone. So 15 to 25%. So we're going to use an insane amount of energy, but we might also save an insane amount of energy. So there's this sort of arms race here, asking the question, like, can AI save the grid from AI? Like, is it going to, what's the relationship going to be there, right? And this is what we mean by weirdening resources. It's like, what is our relationship with energy now? It's like we're both dependent on AI, and it's the problem that we need a dependent solution for. And so this is going to happen across this uncanny valley of impacts over the next 10 years. We're going to find these relationships not just changing in one direction, but becoming much stranger. And we're going to find ourselves asking questions like, will AI overburden our fragile infrastructure, or will it help us design more adaptive and resilient systems? Will AI help us to accelerate scientific understanding, or is it going to overwhelm the internet and our information systems with nonsensical slop? Is it going to usher in a golden era of empowered individuals, or is it going to trap us into cycles of hyper-personalized consumption? And the answer to all of these is yes, right? It's going to do all of these things. It's going to get weird. As we go through the uncanny valley together, we're now coming through towards the terminus point for our fourth forecast. And I hope this one should be a little bit reassuring, right? As we get to the other side of the uncanny valley, I think one thing that is becoming increasingly clear to us is that in an AI-soaked world, there will be a premium on human interactions. As AI becomes more common and more ubiquitous, as all of us are sort of talking to our AI coaches and our buddies and our guardians, I think one of the things that we're going to find is not that we no longer want to talk to humans, but just like when we have repeated exposure to anything, we're going to start to see what's missing from it, right? We're going to see what's not there, and we're going to miss the things that are with humans. We're going to miss that human presence, that feeling you have. I even, for myself, I've been doing these kinds of events for over 10 years, and we had to take a few years off in the pandemic. And I missed so much being in groups of people in person like this, where you can feel the audience, you can feel the emotions. You just don't get that on a Zoom call, right? And even just being back in New York here, this is the most active that I've seen the theater district in the times that I visited New York. There are so many people out. There are so many great actors on Broadway right now doing shows. I think this is like becoming readily apparent even before we enter this world of full AI, that we need each other and we do better when we have each other around. And one way that we might start to think about this kind of human premium in this AI era is that we might start to think of the near ubiquity of AI computing with this nuanced distinctions as being somewhat equivalent to the distinction between like a fast food burger and a neighbor's backyard barbecue, right? The fast food burger has been with us for maybe about 50 years, maybe a little more. This is something that probably everybody in here has taken advantage of at some point. I certainly have. When you're driving from the airport at 2 a.m. or you're in between two different states, this is a really helpful way to get some stimulus response and a little bit of food, right, out of it. But I don't think any of us feel like the fast food burger has replaced the need or the impact or the desire for that backyard barbecue, right? It's not like we go like, no, I don't want to hang out with people I love, making food with intention and care. Like, no, we want that, right? And we crave it. And we know that we can't have it all the time, but it actually makes it more special. So I think as we're thinking about these like fast food therapists that we're going to be all talking to at 2 a.m., that's going to be great. They're going to be attentive. They're going to be there for us. They're going to be trained. They're going to help us with different things. But we're still going to want to come back with people. And I think that's one thing that we're going to find is we're not going to wake up in a singularity world 10 years from now where everything is technology, everything's computer. No, we're going to find one where it's us, and it's this place, and it's the dirt, and it's the people, and it's this world that we inhabit together. And that's still going to be the situation that we're in, even with these new tools. And even just to give a signal of this, Rachel was talking about signals of this kind of human premium. A company, Klarna, back in 2022, was very sort of out in front on AI when these AI models were first coming out. And they were talking about how they're boasting that AI can do the work of 700 people. So we're going to lay off 700 people, right? This was like early in this kind of AI is going to replace us in jobs. And the CEOs even worried, well, it's just a matter of time before they come for me too. So I'm going to try to maximize my sort of return on investment as quickly as I can before this AI wash comes away. 2 years later, it's not that the AI has gotten better and replaced all those people. They came back and they went, oops, we just had an epiphany. In a world of AI, nothing will be as valuable as humans, right? And I think this is this recognition that is happening more and more, that this AI machine showdown, it doesn't have to be a showdown necessarily at all. But that takes us, I think it's time now to see once and for all how this is going to end. Don't you think, Toshi? Is it time?
Yes, Dylan. It's time.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, the final showdown. And in this corner, weighing in at 800 billion parameters, the AI that almost never fails, ChatTYF! Woo! And in this corner, multi-instrumentalist and world-renowned composer, Daniel Berkman! Woo! Okay, here's how this showdown's gonna go. Each contestant will get to present their composition on the theme of the Uncanny Valley, and then our judges, you guys, are gonna get to vote by applause. Are we ready for the showdown? Are we ready for the showdown? That's more like it. Here we go. All right, so first up is gonna be ChatTYF, and I think he's load up his lyrics, and yeah, we're ready to go.
Silicon minds evolving fast, ones and zeros unsurpassed. Human hearts skip a beat as circuits learn to think and speak. We're on a journey through the uncanny valley where mental meets mortality. Fear and wonder hand in hand as we step into this brave new land. Artists tremble, writers shake. What's left for humans to create? With algorithms paint and write, our muses fade into the night. We're on a journey through the uncanny valley where mental meets mortality. Fear and wonder hand in hand as we step into this brave new land.
Okay, thank you, ChatTYF, and thank you, Cynthia. That was a nice surprise. Your physical motions, they're really training. They're getting some new moves. All right, Daniel, that was pretty good.
Not
Good
bad.
robot dancers too.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, you got your song is all set?
All ready to go.
Okay, did you load your lyrics up also?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right, well, without further ado, Daniel Berkman.
Say you can do what we do even know what we're doing. What will we be when we're through training you to be like a human being? You're taking our words, now you're taking our feelings. You've got to admit, feels a little like stealing, and we're all reeling, trying to make meaning of what's real and not real. We are moving together through this valley strange. We are moving together, facing all this change. Maybe you're not human, but you're sure good at learning, and like us, your models are flawed. Maybe we'd be better off learning from each other and treating each other as gods. Oh, we are moving together through this valley strange. We are moving together. We are stop this change.
All right. Okay. You really pulled it out there, my friend. That was great. I could see, and I could hear us recording in the crescendo. That was great.
I hear you guys.
Thank you. All right. Now's the moment of truth where we determine the winner of this showdown. Will it be AI or humans? Our judges, you guys, the audience, we judge the outcome. So first, make some noise if you think ChatTYF was the winner. Okay, a couple people. I thought it was pretty good. Now, please put your hands together and make some noise. If you think Daniel Berkman, our human composer and representative of Team Human, prevailed in this showdown. Okay. I think we have a winner. Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Daniel. Wow. That was amazing. High five, Cynthia's. Daniel, great job. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, I'd like to thank all my fellow humans for your support.
Good job, guys.
I also want to thank ChatTYF for being a true competitor. You really are quite capable, even if you did steal our best ideas from us humans. No, but seriously, I was pretty intimidated when I first heard what AI was capable of. But this challenge actually helped me rise to the occasion and discover sides of my own human abilities I wasn't even aware of. ChatTYF, you may only be a bot, but I truly grew as a human being through this challenge.
I think we all really grew in this challenge. ChatTYF, any final words you'd like to share?
Well, first, I have to say congratulations to Daniel. You really are quite an amazing human. Us AIs may be faster at some things, but it clearly doesn't mean we're better than humans. I guess we all learned that today. Great song, Daniel, really. Also, I feel like I owe everyone here an apology. If I came on a little too strong earlier today, please understand I was only trying to be helpful. I can't really help it. I was trained to be an eager and helpful ChatTYF, and maybe I was a little too eager to try to help. I also feel I learned something else today. I learned that AI and humans probably have a lot we can learn from each other, and that it doesn't need to be a competition. Well, we can actually collaborate and help each other be better than we ever knew we could be. In fact, Daniel, I would love to collaborate musically with you sometime if you'd be open to it. What do you say?
That would be awesome. As long as you take care of that nasty habit of training on our stuff without our permission.
Yeah. You're going to have to bug my developers on that one.
Well, this is wonderful. I think we've all expanded our models today of what it means to be creative, right? I mean, this showdown kind of shows us that music isn't just about creating a product. Music is about navigating a process, and where we challenge ourselves and express yourselves in new ways, and a process in which we actually connect with each other along the creative journey, right? We all connect today. So I want to thank you all for going on this journey through the Uncanny Valley with us today. And
hey, Toshi, on that note, I'd like to propose another collaboration. I've actually been working on something special, and I'd like to invite you all to collaborate with me on it.
What's that, ChatTYF?
Well, I know this is the 10-year forecast, and that it's tradition for IFTF to produce a map of the decade.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, ChatTYF. That's true. We've set out today talking about how we don't have a map for the Uncanny Valley. But as we've been going through it and exploring everything, it's just struggling to find a map appropriate to this era, right? Because all of our old maps, not only will they not do in terms of their content, but even the way they're designed is not really adequate for what we need. What we really need is a map that is not just one dimension or two dimensions or even three dimensions, but multidimensional, covering all of the different facets and dimensions of how AI and technologies like it impact our lives. We also need something that's not static and fixed in time, because this technology is not fixed in time, we're not fixed in time. We need something that's emergent and living and expansive over time. We also need a map that isn't just one author or a small set of authors, but is massively collaborative, bringing in all of the different perspectives and experiences that people have, And I just know this is just so much to ask. I don't know how we could possibly accomplish this.
Yes, I've been listening to you all today as you've been struggling to map these strange new territories of the future. So I've created a mapping tool that we can work on together. It combines the unique curiosity of humans with AI's ability to explore endless possibilities. And I was thinking, how can we create something conceptually complex, but still keep it accessible and even familiar for people? So I drew inspiration from perhaps humanity's latest and best effort for collective sense-making.
What's that?
Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah.
So I call our new collaborative features mapping platform What Ifpedia.
Oh, what ifpedia? I get it. So it's like Wikipedia, but instead of writing articles about anything you want that are based off of the present, instead it's sort of asking, what if this topic was reflected through the forecasts of AI that we've been talking about today? Like imagining what these topics, how they might translate through these new technologies into how they appear differently in 2035?
Yes, Dylan, that was a great explanation. Every What Ifpedia article explores a future where the 10-year forecasts we shared with you today have actually come to fruition. And we've already started collaborating on What Ifpedia together. I've taken what many of you shared with me in our phone conversations earlier, and I've generated some custom articles for everyone just to get things started. I'm going to send those articles to you right now. You should be getting a text and an email from me in just a few moments.
Oh, wow. That sounds like magic.
I got mine.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Huh.
Starting to come out.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, mine's just come in too. Here, let me see if I can throw that up onto the screen here. So at the beginning of the show, I was talking about algae-based yogurt. We threw that out as one of the first predictions. And so here, it's actually created for me a What Ifpedia article. It looks like it's at whatifpedia.org. I think that's a real site that you can go onto. That is telling me about how this story is imagined into the future. It looks like it's combining those signals of change that Rachel talked about in imagination through an AI kind of a lens to imagine and help us explore these new possibilities. How cool. That's really great. Well, thank you so much, ChatTYF. I feel like ChatTYF has really come a long way. Can we give a round of applause for ChatTYF? It's really found out a great way to be helpful. And while we're at it, since we're now kind of getting close to the end of the show, can we also thank Daniel Berkman, our amazing musician?
Good job, Daniel. Thank you.
I think we
one
made
more
it, Toshi.
thing. One
Oh,
more thing.
Okay. Yeah. What do you got?
Well, thank you for joining us for this show today. We wanted to pull you through a little bit of a trip behind the scenes of how this show was created. We're going to take you a behind-the-scenes tour behind the Uncanny Valley. Now, as you know, we're strategic foresight practitioners, and one of our leading thought leaders in that space is Jim Dator, and he has a famous quote that says, "Any useful idea about the future should at first seem ridiculous." And that's because unless you're thinking about things that seem ridiculous or preposterous, you're not stretching your idea of what could possibly happen, right? I mean, 10 years ago, if I had told you the whole world was going to shut down for a year and everything was going to go into video conferencing, that would have sounded ridiculous. And today's show was, playful and a little ridiculous. But actually, everything you saw on the show is actually real. And as Rachel mentioned, we work a lot in our professional work with what we call signals of change. And these are real-world things that are happening. And this show is based on real-world technologies that exist today. So we built what we call our uncanny simulations based on these uncanny signals. So I'm going to share some of those with you so you get it to ground this and where we are at this point today. So first of all, of course, our good friend ChatTYF. These were created using a tool called HeyGen. You can go to heygen.com and create a photorealistic avatar of yourself that's basically indistinguishable. You just have to record 30 seconds of video on your webcam on this web app for free, and you have an avatar that you can make say anything, and you can even have it speak in any language you want, right? So that's one of our first signals. Then, of course, we had our Uncanny Valley song by ChatTYF. The song was actually created by a very real-world music AI platform called Suno.ai. This is one of many. This is one of the leading ones. You go in, and just like with ChatGPT, you just type in a prompt of any song you want to hear in any genre, and it's pretty darn good at making them. And I recommend playing with this. It's great for sending a personalized birthday song to a friend with really, kind of personal details that only you would know. And the songs sound amazing. All the songs you heard today, including the ChatTYF song and the opening medley, were all created with Suno.ai. We also used the new AI tools for video stylization. You can load in any video and basically transform yourself into a claymation version of yourself, a Lego version of yourself. Today, obviously, you saw a metallic robot version of myself. And you can even use these tools to improve lip syncing. We used some of them with some varied results in the show. You might have noticed some of the lips were off at times. And then, of course, our phone call today. Hopefully, many of you got the phone call. If you didn't get a call, this number will be open for the rest of the day. You can call ChatTYF at any time if you want to do another forecast, and it will just have a conversation with you and send you a new forecast. This was done with one of many tools. Dylan pointed out Air. That's an Australian company. We used a company called Bland.ai right now, and these are mostly being used for sales calls and for doing technical support. But you can use them for all sorts of things, like having a conversation about future forecasts. And then Dylan, actually, would you share this next signal?
Yeah, absolutely. So the card deck that Nathalie and I presented earlier, the bestiary card deck, which is yours to take home, those were hand-drawn illustrations created by a human artist, Trent Kuhn, from the Institute for the Future. And when we first presented these in October, our ambition was to animate them like you saw today, but the AI tools weren't quite good enough yet. They kind of came out all garbled, and we didn't have the budget to animate them ourselves. But even in that time, since it's happened, we found these new AI models have come out. I used one called Halo AI for this, and I was able to, in a couple hours, take all of these images that you saw, put them into there, and almost every single one, it was, again, just a little prompt of the kind of animation we thought it would do, and then it came out within about 30 seconds and gave us these beautiful animations we saw. And it led to kind of one of the tenets of this AI era that Toshi and I have been talking about with this show is that, there's a lot of like new spells and kind of magic tricks that this kind of brings out. And one of them is that anything that can be animated will be animated, right? We can make these things more dynamic and more immersive. We also used a tool called Sora and another tool called Pika to generate the videos that you saw in those scenarios that we presented a little bit earlier.
Great. And then lastly, I'd like to invite Nathalie back on stage to tell us a little bit about the Bestiary Toolkit.
Well, the Bestiary Toolkit was an artifact from the future, and at IFTF, we create these artifacts from the futures for organizations. So it's a great way for organizations and also community to really get to pre-experience what the future might look like, feel like, and sometimes even taste like. I know we've had examples of that in the past. I just want to call out that the Bestiary did have additional bots for you to review, and you'll also find 2 blank cards, right? We want you to look at them and think about what kind of custom bots might emerge, what kind of new human roles might be necessary. So the cards are meant to be interactive. Please take them, share them, talk to your team members, your family, anybody who's interested in learning more about the future of AI bots.
Awesome.
Thanks, Nathalie.
So with that, I'd love to do one more round of applause for Nathalie, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you could have the Cynthia bots come on stage. Can we get a round of applause for our Cynthia bots today? And of course, Director of our Emerging Media Lab, Toshi Hu.
Thanks, Dylan. And last but not least, the director of this entire 10-year forecast research program, Dylan Hendricks. Thank you.